Welcome back, everyone, to Podcast the Ventcore. I'm Admin 1 of NEFX.
Alright, I am Windbreaker.
Yeah, it's been 4.5 years since the first episode we did together. And of course, I've done about 4.5 times as many huge levels as everyone else on Earth combined, and probably my ego is 4.5 times as big too, but we're finally back. It's 2022. I'm about to move off to Portland, Oregon in a few days, so this is like my going away party. Nowhere else I'd rather be than with Windbreaker doing Podcast the Ventcore.
Sad you're leaving.
Yeah, me too.
Never going to see you again, ever.
Yeah. Well,
thank God.
Don't worry. We'll still see each other when the VR marathon becomes a thing, and we'll be hanging out daily in the Zoom app by Douche Tower.
Oh, is that where we'll be?
Yeah, not even playing games. We'll just be hanging out there. No one will play games anymore.
You only have a couple days left to finish the bust of me that you've apparently been making.
Yeah.
I was expecting you were going to bring it today, but you did not.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I forgot. I guess I'll bring it back in 69 years when I come back to Boise.
Okay.
Now, I'll be here at least once every year. We'll probably make an occasion of it.
We will?
Yeah,
I think
at least that's what we'll tell the audience.
Yeah. Okay, sure. No, we will. This is we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the years in person. And I can actually say this. I'm sad to see you go from Boise, but like you said, you'll be back in town, and I'm sure you'll randomly show up at shows that I play.
Oh yes.
Throughout the years.
Little known fact: my most attended band concert-wise personally is a Windbreaker core band, and I didn't particularly plan that, but this is how it wound up. No joke. Over the past few years.
No joke. That's an NEFX song. I know that.
That's right. It's like almost the first one. It's the second one ever released.
It's the one that comes up in search results.
Yeah. It's the one with the most normal track title.
Yeah.
Douche Tower rightly pointed out that you could track my slow descent into insanity, or at least as he would call it, over the years by tracking the progress of my track titles.
Oh, really?
Went from intro and no joke to, whatever it even is now. I can't necessarily recall because there's so many of them, and I come up with them on the fly based off of these kinds of loose impressions I get before I just, want to fire them off into the ether as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. Thus, I've forgotten many
Zeitgeistian thought forms, as it were.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we'll get to things related to tracks pretty soon. But First things first, like before, we want to go over not just how the meat server is doing, but more pertinently nowadays, as this was actually not so much the case during the first episode, how's the meat cord doing, meaning the Marathon Discord?
Meat cord, dear.
Yeah.
I've not heard of this term before.
You haven't? I thought it was kind of known among us. Maybe it's just Deuce Tower who said it. He would refer to the Marathon Discord as the meat cord.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good name.
So, in a way, we have a clearer window into the meat server state through the Discord, even though the meat server is no longer the main roost of the, I guess, core community, as it were, which maybe that's a loss, but I could say this. Looking at lowan.org, granted I haven't been able to participate as much in games lately because I've been so engrossed in making stuff for games, including for net games, but apparently so far, at nearly the halfway mark into the month, we're recording this on May 14th, there have been 6.6 hours, 55 matches worth of games online. What do you make of that?
There hasn't been a lot of multiplayer recently. There haven't been a lot of multiplayer maps. It seems like a lot of times when there are new maps, there are more maybe games played online. I don't know. But, yeah. I haven't released a video also. That's probably the reason why it's doing so badly. Because I haven't released a video in like 5 months or whatever. No, I don't know. I haven't played a lot recently. I go through phases where I'll play like 0 games in 8 months. And then I'll play, 25 matches in one night. And then I'll go again.
Yeah, it's a binging pattern.
Yeah.
And actually, I've been thinking...
You haven't been hosting, though.
Right, and I've been thinking lately, I may not host with frequency anytime soon per se, but I've been thinking of getting back into marathon playthroughs more regularly, at least for the summer. because I want this to be the 2022 NEFX Summer Slaughterfest. As you might know, some of you out there, I gave that title to online game events in past years, and I just want to use new playthroughs as an excuse, more to the point, that title as an excuse to bring back single-player videos, since, as you might know, my Marathon Red playthrough has been on hiatus for over a year now, and I thought I would just, make it like a seasonal exception so that I have an excuse to use the term NEFX Summer Slaughterfest. Because, that's how I work. I come up with titles and then I use that as justification to do things. Or the title is so great that I have to make something that I can put that name to. That's how this podcast even happened. You think of a term, podcast event core, and you think, there's no way I'm not doing that. So that's why we're here today. So,
that's how you got spooky, huh? For episode 1.5. Podcast event core. He just couldn't resist being on here. Are you going to get Spooky again? I would love to actually hear an interview with Spooky where I can actually hear him.
Yeah, I know.
Especially now.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you ask him about what's up with the strippers on his desktop?
Yeah,
that's allegedly his work laptop? Is that what it is?
Seemingly.
Or work computer? Sorry, I don't think it's a laptop.
Yeah, we'd be remiss.
Can you ask him about that for me?
Yeah.
I want you to inquire about that.
Yeah, do some little investigation. What's with the fucking desktop strippers, right? Yeah, we'd be remiss if we did not address spooky news. You might recall in the first episode where...
Can I just interject?
Yeah.
Admin meant to surprise me with this little pocket soundboard he had that was in his pocket, but then he sat down before the podcast began and it accidentally went off.
Yeah, I was careless.
Yeah. I just felt that the audience should know that.
Yeah, everyone should know my embarrassing blunders, though.
Anyways, yeah, spooky news. Strippers on his work desktop along with the Marathon logo, right?
Yes, that's right.
I don't pay a lot of attention to the Discord, which is why I might not be the best guest for Discord news, if I could speak. But I am aware of this. So continue, please.
Okay. So yes, as you might recall in the first episode, we said quite a bit about, his tendency at the time to be a pothead. But that is dated. At this point, he apparently no longer partakes in the good. But seeing some of his antics now, maybe he should. He relies on desktop strippers to get his wood, yet he still stalks douche towers pud.
What?
And that's no way to go through life, son.
Did you just come up with that, or did you think of that before the podcast?
It just started rolling.
Oh, it just started rolling. Okay, okay. Do you have a boo button on that soundboard?
Let's see. Wait, I think, yeah, here we go.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, Spooky, what's up with that? I think Douche Tower made a point when he said that the point of the strippers was actually for the Discord. Like, he wanted something to show off, and so he just downloaded it.
Yeah, it's... I guess what I would add to that is it's very in line with what you can see so far with Spooky, which, Spooky, he hosted my maps a lot over the years, so I'm hesitant to comment, on some, but yeah, how could you not when it comes to that?
But I will say this also, actually, to the point about Spooky hosting our maps. Spooky made one of the most classic streams I've ever seen. You remember this, right? A few years ago, 2019, he attempted to stream a playthrough of one of my maps, specifically a map I made for the Marathon Pathways into Darkness scenario. And he streamed it all right, but the catch was that at that time he was, very drunk, and he neglected, to capture the screen on which you would see the gameplay. He only captured himself, and he, didn't set up his mic right, so you heard this awful, ear-piercing feedback noise, and it just showed him he was, drunk in a graduation cap, getting pissed possibly at me or at the game. I couldn't tell because I couldn't make out what he was saying, but he was, drunk in a graduation cap, just kind of hitting the keyboard and yelling at the camera while this mic just screeches in the background. It was great.
Do you have this clip saved? Have you preserved this clip? This is where
I've not. Sadly, it's the love that got away. But thankfully, TBCR, or perhaps Tibster, as he might prefer to be called, he saved a key clip of it. You can still find it somewhere. I think if you go to Twitch TBCR, or maybe if you go Twitch Spooky Marathon, you'll see in the clip section a clip of that special stream that was called "What is Life? ... Even." And then that really encapsulates the moment, when you behold a classic stream like that. And I should say, Spooky later on did do a stream in which, he captured the screen and everything. He was sober, he was cool, he played through it, he was a good sport, and was, very generous in his review and all that. But in retrospect, though the first stream wasn't what I expected, I realized in retrospect it was really the best one. That was the classic right there.
Do you model your own streams and stuff after that very first stream? Is that how we can explain some of the various technical difficulties you've had over the years with your videos?
Well, not really, because I haven't yet evolved past screen capture of the game, at least to where I would share it. Although actually maybe I would share it if I found out that I just accidentally streamed myself the whole time. I probably would share it just because of the novelty of it all. But
you have shared with a webcam, right? You have a headset on.
That's
and
right.
You're playing marathon rounds. Actually, can I interject with something real quick?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? So this brings me to, I have way less notes than admin does here, but one of my notes here pertains to a video that you uploaded, and just to kind of paint the picture here. One day, a while ago, I was mapping and I decided to pull up one of your videos of you playing online multiplayer. Just because, I think I was texturing a map or something. I just wanted something in the background, so I just pull up one of your videos. You just uploaded it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm listening along here, and
was I raging?
What's that?
Was I raging?
You were no, you weren't raging. Maybe at another part in the video, but I was kind of half paying attention, and then my ears were violated with what I heard next. And I'm curious if you're aware that this exists on the internet. I don't know when the next time is that we'll do a podcast or anything, or when I'll be able to ask you about this again. So I figure, this is the best time to ask you about this. So I got this pulled up on my phone, and let's just see if you can hear this. So you were playing online, and you were hosting. And
wait, was this something I played in game or something I said?
Oh, we'll just see. We'll just take a look here. This is you had been playing online though, and then here we go.
Try Plastic Casual.
You're hosting a game.
Be right back.
You say you'll be right back.
Oh, this is when I'm pissing off.
I mean, you didn't have to blow it for the audience.
I didn't realize it was that audible. That's funny.
Okay, yeah. So imagine me in the middle of mapping, and suddenly I'm listening to you pee. You didn't. I mean, so you have a headset though, right?
Yeah.
Here, hold on. I want to make sure that your audience experiences what I experienced.
Yeah.
That is you flashing.
Yep.
Right. So, you have a headset, right?
Yeah.
Does your headset have a mute button, or I mean?
Yeah, OBS. I guess I have an option on OBS as well.
But I mean, there's a little, I have a headset, right? And there's a little button, and you just click the button, bloop, and it mutes it, right? No peeing sounds.
I'm learning new things all the time.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, I remember Douche Tower making comment to that effect, but Yeah, I didn't realize it was that, like, Niagara Falls in the...
Yes. I was just curious if you were aware that this audio of you existed on the internet.
I knew there was some of it, but it's a different thing to hear it firsthand.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Anyways, let me just cross this off my list of notes. Okay.
You've been dying to say that piece for some time.
No, I actually thought of it today. I was thinking, what could we talk about? And I was like, what have I always wanted to ask admin, right? And that was one of the things. So, thank you for that opportunity.
Oh yeah, so the meet server status, or I should say, net play attendance. Even though certainly we are taking our time down the hill of relevancy over the years, we do still occasionally get these sort of new wins. And I think one of those is that there's been something of maybe a slight reemergence in scheduled clan and group-based net games. For a time, I had my hat in the ring there with NEFX net games, and I expect that someday, circumstances willing, I'll bring those back. I've even occasionally broke the hiatus briefly for people who are so desperate for net games, because in that case I can always say, oh yes, if you really want net games, I'll host for you, but on one condition. We're only going to play NEFX net maps. Sometimes with NEFX scripts, or maybe I'll play non-NEFX maps with NEFX scripts. But we have two major players right now, group-wise. Well, for one thing, Sharky Lino is holding down the fort pretty well, and I think he actually started doing that a bit more in response to the fact that some people were defecting from the NEFX net game events. I think in part because I was hosting stuff like the Great Train Robbery map by Poe and Adair and things of that nature. I have a bit of an avant-garde mapping taste, and I guess some people it's just a little too hardcore. But Sharky, he's always been very attendant in net games, and that's partly why he's been so great. One of the great players. But for another thing, we've recently seen the emergence of a group in the marathon community that's more broadly a net game group for many vintage games, mostly the FPS variety, called the DOSBox Deathmatch group. Have you heard of those?
No, I have not.
You might have seen someone in the server by the name of the Baratus 2, Baratus.
Yeah, I think they've streamed some stuff, right?
Yeah, they have.
I've played some matches where they were on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Although it's also sort of odd because, in keeping on topic with strange streams that are kind of beautiful in their insanity. I've watched. I don't think I've played a game with them yet, but I have watched some streams where they're playing Marathon or otherwise, and they'll play anything. Like, they'll play... Apparently, they recently, since the 2001 version of Duke Nukem Forever leaked, they've been playing that online together. And they'll play, rarities and, beta versions of these old games and stuff. But at one point, curious thing happened. I piled into a stream in which they were playing the Unreal Tournament beta online. They were having trouble getting it set up. So I was mainly watching the main person, the Baratus 2, on his camera. And by the way, he's sort of like a VTuber. He has one of those 3D anime character avatars that's controlled by him. So when he moves and talks, he moves and talks. And it's this, old school cornball, busty anime character that he's got plastered over this screen of him playing the Unreal Tournament beta, waiting for someone else to come in. So he's wandering around this map with this ridiculous 3D model. And in addition to that, other people in the stream are playing their own ridiculous, funny internet meme things in the background. So you hear these spiked sounds of old Windows 95 sounds and a collage. And then another guy is sitting there reading off a Wikipedia article about cock and ball torture. And just sitting there what the fuck is this stream? So yes, that's what happens in the void left by the absence of NEFX net games. So I'm sure you can all see why it is you secretly miss me. But in addition to that, who else is still holding down the fort is the Marathon Evil Club.
Yeah, they've been playing for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, shit, just about anyone who's an active member of the Marathon community has their own, award for most whatever, no matter how small it might seem. And I think the Vituperator, the main gatherer and host of that, he would probably win the all-time award for most consistent, hosting and participation. I know many in the community might be a little baffled because, he hosts an Evil and, he selects usually the same maps, usually stock maps played in Evil. And,
Doesn't he select Coriolis loop maps? Those are good maps.
He's probably had on occasion. But yeah, it's largely like stock maps with just the evil weapons and everything in it.
Yeah.
And, people may find it odd that he's the only person over the past 20 years who thinks dead players drop items is a good idea. But you know what? Until you've played the map Listen Germany from Thomas Mann's Greatest Hits by John Irons with a fucking nuke gun, you haven't lived at all. Doesn't matter how much traveling you've done inside or outside the game. No, unless you've been spawn killed 7 times in a row with a nuke gun, you just haven't lived. And even then, of course, you obviously haven't lived. You can hardly get around enough to pick up a gun. But seriously, those matches are really fun. And there's kind of a new dynamic from having the dead players drop items that can be forgotten because we normally don't host it that way.
I hate dead players drop items. Anyone who hosts it like that should not host.
Oh, no.
You heard it here first. Shots fired. Also, who's John Irons?
Did I say Irons?
I don't know. That's what
Irons. Well, anyway, whoever made Thomas Mann's Greatest Hits.
I'm sorry. I'm being such a jerk.
Whoever's name I can't get right, who generously gave me a very wonderful thing that I'm going to use as the basis for a new sort of NEFX soundtrack. Thanks, by the way, Irons. He's been great. But yeah, those are the main people I think hosting these days. It's sort of group based, and on one hand, you could see that as a sign of inexorable decline in the sense that gone are the days when you could feasibly wander in just about any day, any time, let alone the weekdays, and find someone just there ready to play. But on the other hand, I do see new life in it, and it sort of harkens back in some ways to something we touched on in the first episode about where there used to be entire geographical chapters of marathon players. Of course, those were geographically based, and they would be able to meet in person for LAN parties. And I'm talking about that as I'm further killing that idea by moving. But I'll spread the wealth in Portland, and in the meantime, we still got Windbreaker, Eddie Dingle, and Awwhoop here to keep the faith.
Eddie Dingle's not going to be here for much longer. Eddie Dingle's moving away too.
Him too?
Yeah. Well, he's going to be traveling for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's just going to be me and that one other guy we met one time. Awwhoop or whatever.
Yeah, one of several people I keep meeting at the same fucking Albertsons. That's the hub for everyone.
Oh, you see him there too?
Oh, yeah, I've seen people I haven't seen in years down there.
I see you there when I go there at abnormal times in the day. Mm-hmm. And that's always when I run into you, is when I'm not usually there. It's a random hour late at night. I've ran into admin 5 times at the same Albertsons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, hope you're hanging in there. You're going to be all alone.
I'm going to be all alone, yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
at this point, actually, come to think of it, I think Austin, Texas, where the Vituperator is, when he's not calling himself the Austin Mangler instead of the Boston Strangler. I think actually that might be the marathon capital of the world at this point, even with me still here and Eddie Dingle still here.
Who else is there?
Well, there's also Rockman057, who actually I think is one of the most overlooked marathon players because he mainly just plays in the Marathon Evil Club, so he's not as much in the general consciousness of the community. But I played with him a few times. Sharkulino has too, because he's gotten in on some of the evil action, and yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with for sure. But I think there are at least a couple other people down there. There's one person goes by the name Fucking Buttons. I think he's also in, or at least around Austin, and I think the Vituperator's got his family in the marathon too, and he's he's been doing this evil thing like very consistently on a weekly basis, give or take sometimes, for years, since the days when you could reliably do LAN parties, which he probably still occasionally does. So maybe Austin is secretly the capital.
Could be. There's a lot of similarities to Austin and Boise.
Yeah.
Both have similar capitals. The Event Street is 6th Street. This is stuff that no one will find interesting, but these are observations I've made.
Yeah, I
call Austin Big Boise.
Boise?
Yeah. The one time I visited it, like 10 years ago.
Interesting, because when I first considered eventually moving to Portland, and I was looking at different places, I did consider Austin briefly. Maybe if I went down there, I'd be having LAN parties with the Evil Club today. But come to think of it, I've always thought it would be kind of funny and cool if, like, hypothetically, we had like some kind of competition, a team one between the Boise boys and the Austin Oss Whoopers or whatever, in which we had a series of team play games against each other and see who wins. Because on one hand, I think you and I, we're pretty seasoned veterans, so we could definitely hold our own. On the other hand, A-Whoop and Dingle haven't played as much, so it's like novice to expert and then kind of experienced in the middle on the other side.
That's true, yeah. Well, you have 4 days to organize it.
Damn.
Before you move away, yeah. Before you're not a member of the Boise Boy Club anymore.
Everyone wants a piece of me, damn it.
Yep. And you still have to finish that bust too, so you have quite.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You have quite the 4 days left.
Well, look, I'm gonna win the lottery. All right, it's gonna happen.
Okay.
And I'm gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna have plenty of time in which to make all these ridiculous things, and I'll have more than enough money to make that bust and send it your way.
There you go. I have to expect every morning to wake up with it next to me, like the Godfather.
What would you feel? Do you think if one day, because I thought, once I would get it, I would drop it off outside your porch.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think? What do you think you'd feel one day if you just walk outside and you just look down and there it was? There's you staring back in pure marble.
It would be a familiar feeling, I guess I should say, because that actually brings me to one of my other questions that I wanted to ask you. One of my other 3 or 4 questions. So can I ask you something here?
Yeah.
So, years ago, I worked actually pretty close to here. It's the same building I work now, but I worked in a different office. And this office kind of had... It was a little corner office with some windows, right? Right where my computer was. And I overlooked this kind of lounge area, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And so one day, I'm just working away, right? Just doing stuff, and I have to go use the restroom. I get up, I go out of the door, and as I'm walking, through the lounge area, who do I see? None other than Admin 1 of NEFX. Sitting at the lounge that's about 50 feet from the windows where my office is. And can I just tell you, that moment, I was pretty freaked out, okay? So my question to you is, did you ever stalk me?
No.
Okay, I don't believe you. Because, can I tell you just how unnerving it was to see that Admin 1 of NEFX was watching me work at my office computer. You were just lounging there like it was nobody's business. Come on.
Wait, what year was this? 2018?
Maybe 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016.
Because I remember,
we've known each other quite a while.
I remember running into,
this is where the whole bust of Windbreaker came from. I think. I can't recall. My memory is foggy. But, yes. Did you ever know this? Do you ever remember this? You remember running into me, though, right?
Yeah. When I was.
Were you aware of how close my office was to where you were hanging out?
Probably not when I was sitting in that building.
Okay.
Because I do know that, at least for a while, you were working in a certain part of that building.
Yes.
And
you were aware of where I worked. Okay, that was the other thing I wanted to mention.
I'm trying to put everything in sequence together because
I was thinking to myself, how long has admin been watching me work? How long have I been looking at this computer screen? Maybe I missed the bust. Were you working on the bust right then, using me as an example through that window? I don't know. Anyways, please continue.
I can't remember a time that I've ever seen you, like, in the process of your job.
Okay, you can't
recall. I know...
You can't recall. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I'm so depraved because I stalk everyone that I can't even remember who I stalked and when.
Okay. That makes more sense to me.
Because, I'm secretly in cahoots with Spooky to find out what toothpaste Douche Tower uses.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I'm secretly in cahoots
with Spooky to see what... Okay.
To see what kind of toothpaste Douche Tower uses, because...
I'm sure Douche Tower will be pleased to hear this.
I don't know if...
development.
I don't know if Spooky still stalks Douche Tower, but I know that's a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. Yeah,
I thought you stalked everyone.
What?
I thought you stalked everyone. You don't get it, but you stalk everyone. You just told us.
I think I said just a bunch of people.
Okay. Who else?
Like so many people.
Who else do you stalk? So you stalk me. You stalk Douche Tower. Who else do you stalk?
Let's see. Let me think about this for a minute. I'm trying to remember.
Do you stalk Eddie Dingle?
I'm trying to remember who I stalk.
Okay.
Because, I'm just so depraved. That's all I do. So it's like I have to remember all the bad things I do.
Okay.
So that must have included, surely must include Master Durano because I still have his dedicated sub-server in the NEFX Vortex because I'm still waiting for him to come back and talk about nothing but Alex Jones. And then, who else? Well, surely, the fact that I ran into Awup in the Albertsons must mean that I'm stalking Awup.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
Yes. Who else? Who else is even there to stalk? There's hardly any one of us left. I'm having to move. I'm having to move over to the fucking Pathways into Darkness community to keep up my horrible habits.
Is this why you're moving to Portland? You gotta cover your tracks and you gotta get away from here.
Yeah. And eventually I'm going to be stuck in
This podcast is actually just seconds before disaster is what it is.
Yeah. You'll make a fine lampshade, but, I'm at the point where I'm having to eventually move to, Commerce City, Colorado, because I'll have been kicked out of every other fucking city. I'll have to settle for places like that where, the trees grow so gnarled, and everyone's just, on whippets because there's, nothing else to do down there.
Whippets?
Yeah.
Do they live in the 1990s too?
Probably that much far behind.
Yes. No, as I've said before, it's been quite fun getting to know you the last couple of years. I'm sad you're going. I'm holding back the tears right now, as you can visibly see. No, I'm just being funny.
Yeah. It is seriously news to me that
no, it's not. You knew where I worked. I was 40 feet from you. Yeah, and you were facing the direction of my windows.
Thing of it is, I don't remember being directly outside of the room in which you worked, and I'm not even sure if this is
the answer that someone would give in court. Though is the thing. Oh, I can't recall. I don't know. Can you recall being outside of Windbreaker's office during his time of work? I can't recall. Oh, okay. Well, we have no other evidence. So,
the thing is, I don't know if what time this was along with timeline. If it's the same time in which I knew that you worked in that building.
Oh, you certainly did. We had communicated that prior to this for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
for those who can't see, Admin just shrugged. He just shrugged. He doesn't know.
I'm really sorry that I creeped you out.
No, you're good. You're good.
I wonder what.
It's okay now.
Yeah, I wonder what I was working on at the time. Depending on the timeline, I might have either been doing part of the huge playthrough because I remember there were times where I did part of the huge playthrough in that building.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I might have been working on a map or something. Maybe I was making it on a map that was based off of a
form.
bust of your head that I would then pattern the actual bust off of, so that way the bust would be very cubic.
I want to see this map.
Yeah.
Real quick, would you mind pausing it? I totally have to use the restroom.
Oh, yeah. One second.
I just I said to use the restroom, so I instructed admin to pause the podcast.
Yeah.
In which I then, anyways, I'm just gonna check this off my list real fast.
Yeah.
Stalking. Okay.
He already heard me. He already heard me piss. He only wants me to have to experience the return favor, but no, I didn't hear it.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I know that in the very first episode, maybe inadvertently, it came off almost as like a nostalgic death trip because we went, back through like the old sites and everything. But to a degree, Marathon is still like this weirdly living, breathing entity. And we can see that over the releases over the past year. We'll get to my stuff. But firstly, something called Marathon 4. Yes, that's right. Despite how it might sound, it actually is not spelled with a PFHOR, which I was a bit surprised by. But what do you think, Windbreaker? You played Marathon 4, right? Some even say you had a bit of a stake in it.
Did I? I added to that document a little bit. Yeah, it turned out very well. I'm a fan. I haven't played all of it yet. I've played probably 10% of it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, you can't.
But I spent
really
about
play.
An hour on it so far. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, you can't really play through the whole thing. Is the great thing about it. Much like with Marathon.
You should try though. You should live stream it.
Yeah, I might just do that for the 2022 NEFX Summer Slaughterfest. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's sort of like with Marathon Huge. Like even if you seem like you played through it all, when you think about it, you'll never get through all the different recombinations of all the assets of it together. So
you could try though.
The experience never ends, and much like with Marathon Huge, it's sort of a love letter to the community. One that's more up to date in a way because it involves a lot of things from over the past 5 years, whereas Huge was in 2017, and one can only imagine like the sort of shit that could be used for, a hypothetical Huge sequel just from the past 5 years alone, given how much more thoroughly everything is documented with this Marathon Discord. But you should play Marathon 4 because, people have discussed different points of Marathon history, like who the president of Marathon might be. At one point, maybe to some people, it would still be like Ryoko Tike because of, just the scenarios he's made and how much he's contributed in addition to being a great player. And obviously there's Tree Llama because of Aleph 1. But a serious contender nowadays is Deuce Tower because he's made so much based off of Lua trickery in a way that, you could feasibly try the rest of your life to play through all that he's made, and you'll never quite make it. And you never know what kinds of Easter eggs might be buried in there. Like apparently there's a huge part somewhere in the 10,000 plus that have been generated since the first run of Huge. That's like in the Big League box set, and everyone wants me to try and find that, but I can't. I haven't found it, and I've paywalled the further Huge playing through for like $1 per level. But
you should plug your Patreon here. Didn't Irons
yes Irons
donate to Patreon? Congratulations to you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, he did donate $10 in exchange for me playing. Wait, no.
It was Huge Packs. It wasn't Marathon Huge. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I meant to say he donated $5 so that I played 10 3-minute Huge Packs matches on Bot Match. Another great thing by Deuce Tower. Well, the foundation was set by Radburn, and then Deuce Tower advanced and perfected it. So, in a phenomenon that seems to echo, the state of the world now, we're increasingly having to say hello to our robotic overlords. Things are procedurally generated, and there's bots now, so you can play 420-69 bots on any map you choose, and none of them will ever object.
Can you hit that boo button again on your soundboard?
Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
Yes, Windbreaker disapproves, but Like, I, for one, would love to have future installments of Marathon Bot Match Adventures in which I go through everything in the Bungie archives. So we'll see about that. There's already videos I've uploaded for that, in which you can see stuff that hasn't been seen since like 97. Some might say for good reason, but those bots, they don't say no to anything. So you can finally see some of the potential realized with like a full house worth of players in each of these maps.
I do enjoy that. I do like you playing through those old maps with bot match and kind of documenting them. That was kind of one of the reasons that I started uploading some YouTube videos on my channel, was that I kind of wanted to just like document or preserve whatever Marathon is right now.
Yeah.
Because who knows if it'll be here in like 5 years even.
That's
which
right.
It will be. It'll definitely be here when Ben Urban gets out of prison. For sure.
When Ben Unban gets unbanned.
Yes. It's terrible. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's too early for me to say, but I reckon that, as long as I'm not dead or otherwise severely incapacitated, I'm going to be on this Marathon hill for forever.
You'll be the last man standing.
Yep, and I'll be the de facto winner.
He's going to be the last one for sure.
Yeah, he'll lure his way into immortality somehow. So yes, just play Marathon 4. It's unlike anything else. It's not what you'd expect. I mean, I can say as much that, as it says on the Simplicity description, it is 30 levels, but not the type of levels that you'd expect. And it's a good snapshot into where we're all at for the past few years. It's got some stuff relevant to all of us in it.
It's my kind of scenario. I like it more than some of the other scenarios out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in part because it's actually out.
Yes. Well, yeah.
I mean, we should just say it. This section is, and by the way, it was sort of suggested by Kafiva, formerly known as $Lave, $Lave.
Steve Dollars.
Yeah. Steve
I know
Dollars.
what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Guy who changes his avatar all the time.
Yeah.
And he threw away his big box set. It's on video. There's now video evidence of 2 Bigley box sets being disposed of. Yours being destroyed and his being thrown away.
He actually threw it away?
He did, yes.
How the fuck?
Yeah, you got to find this clip now and then insert it on the video.
Well, yes. Well, I should say, Steve Dollars, thank you for being worse than me. For making me look slightly more tolerable by comparison. It is really funny. I knew about those sorts of boxes before. Like, I'd opened them properly, but it just didn't register in my mind when I opened this Bigley box set that it was like one of those that you would find, that would have computers in them. I thought it was supposed to be like one of those really tightly, hermetically sealed boxes that you really have to pry open.
It sounded like a cartoon of someone prying a box open. Like, it even squeaked.
You're like,
as it was coming apart, yeah. I found it very amusing.
Yeah, I remember everyone was laughing at it, and then realized, and I laughed at it too.
Yeah. At least you got it on film.
Yeah. But anyway, what I was driving at was this next thing I'm talking about. I probably would have thought about it at some point anyway, but props anyway to Kafiva for suggesting it when I solicited input from the community for what could be talked about for Marathon News. He's actually the only one who really submitted anything, so good job. This is the eternal marathon of Marathon Eternal and other open, never-ending projects. So, Phobo, Forrest, when he's not teaching us the virtues of avoiding shallow syncretism or choleric humors, and he isn't venting openly as a mod in Discord about how anyone who smokes in public should be burned in public, preferably in boxes so we don't have to breathe their ashes. He is working on perhaps the single most ambitious and meta marathon scenario of all time, Marathon Eternal. One which is so ambitious that I remember playing a version of it in junior high. I'm almost 30, and he's still fucking working on it. And I'll bet whenever whatever version comes out, it's going to be like nothing else. But the question is, with so many versions across time, whether they're official releases or demos or leaks or betas or whatever they may be, with so many different changes that he and other contributors have documented openly, it's like you wonder, if I play the latest version, do I essentially blow my load knowing that a future version is going to come out and then it won't be the right version anymore? The longer you wait to finally experience Eternal, to release Eternal or to experience the released version, the better it's going to become.
These sound like themes that could be discussed in Marathon Eternal, even.
Yes.
At least
they probably are, because...
Latest version, I should say. Can I just interject really quickly? I thought Aaron made Eternal.
Well, that's. I was going to touch on that.
Am I wrong?
Well, who even knows at this point?
Okay,
I could definitely say that.
I apologize if that's not the case.
He's updated the thread many times in the forums, which is really at this point the Murgil 01 forums, but we'll get to that at some other point. Suffice to say, Forrest has gotten out the big guns by hiring another marathon creator known for very long, ambitious projects and for documenting them every step of the way. Aaron. And Aaron has also been working on Marathon Chronicles, Marathon Where Monsters Are in Dreams, and it is rumored Marathon Wolfenstein 3D Trump Tower You Snooze You Lose. Because, I've entered into this 5D chess practice in which I basically make scenarios happen by proposing them, so that way someone out there will make the You Snooze You Lose version to taunt me, and then I won't have to put in the effort. I say that, but I only really did that to Murgil 01 with Marathon Green, and then only Deuce Tower did that to me once with the bot match script. But anyway, and I've been thinking, if you look at all the updates, all the different versions, it seems like that's almost the scenario itself. But yeah, this is probably the closest thing to, like one of those games that blurs the line between reality and game. Like, how some people will make games that involve like GPS geocaching missions and stuff where you find plot points in real life. This is almost like that, but digitally stored. Because, like, if you look at a Forrest post or an Aaron post, like, they're so passionate about the updates. Like in the latest Aaron post from, I think, May 6th in the thread for Marathon Eternal, he was talking about everything from polygon counting and figurations in a single level that's apparently significantly updated from a previous version of the same level, to the significance of including Latin phraseology and, embedding physics and Lewis scripts in there, talking about a new AI character that's in there that's a replacement of the old one with a different personality that's based on some philosophical concept. I don't want to be cliche and say, oh, maybe Marathon Eternal is the friends we made along the way, but at this point, I think that's really what the scenario is. It's the updates, it's the never-ending pace, the craft, the never quite there.
Yeah. So who made Marathon Eternal? I thought Aaron made Marathon Eternal. Am I wrong in that?
Maybe he secretly took over.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his plot to do the You Snooze You Lose version. He's making believe that he's in cahoots with Forrest so that they will both officially release it together as a mutually approved project. Okay. But in fact, he's getting in on it so that he can release it himself with You Snooze You Lose appended, along with Chronicles Where Monsters Are in Dreams and the Wolfenstein Trump Tower mod.
I will just say that that Aaron has completely proved me wrong. His incessant posting about Marathon Eternal has led to quite a lot of discussion about Marathon Eternal. So good on him. He's running a solid promotional campaign for Marathon Eternal.
Yeah.
Right? He even has his own thread, It's like him and then the Ukraine thread on the server. Those are the only two threads. Yeah. So, I stand corrected. as annoyed as I am at how frequently I see pictures of Marathon Eternal. Hey, can't argue with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't deny it. It's huge. I mean, when you think about it, part of it is like the Easter egg hunt of noting all the different possible versions and the nuanced differences between them. Like, something as paltry as Rubicon only had like 2 versions, right?
What? Rubicon?
Yeah, it had the original, then it had the Rubicon X that modified it, even individual previously existing levels.
Yeah.
I remember because I played the original Rubicon when it was new and then played the newer thing, and I thought, hey, they changed the layout.
I thought Aaron was going to reach out to the Rubicon devs, right? Isn't it that plan?
Maybe.
Didn't Aaron create Rubicon?
He might also be...
I thought he did. I'm sorry.
He might also be a key player in resolving the Ukraine conflict and his participation in the thread, surely.
Just use that Cookie Monster emoji a bunch.
Yeah.
Calm everybody down.
Yeah, everyone will unite around Cookie Monster.
Yeah. You know what you should do? Sorry, that took me a second. I would like to hear a debate on the philosophical subject, just the whole subject of philosophy in general, nothing specific, between you and Forrest. Can you organize this? Can this maybe be, so your next episode should be spooky, obviously, where you ask him about the strippers on his desktop. But after that, can you and Forrest have a debate on just, I don't know, pick any sort of, it could be Blake Eisty in the Thought Forums, it could be Plato, right? Can you do this for me?
That could possibly happen. I do have something in store that's like in tribute to his, philosophical tome, the Codex Corinthus. I'm going to say Codex Corinthus. I might not be pronouncing that right, actually.
Yeah.
I remember it was previously Codex Quarande. I'm not sure why that changed, but I'm sure there's a good reason for that. But yeah, it'd be good to pick his brain one way or another. And
then maybe you could ask him what his fucking problem is with people who struck. Anyways, never mind.
Yeah.
Please continue.
The Marathon Eternal story page, much of it would probably be just like about the story of the development of Eternal. Like that, I think, bears its own story. I'm sure that you could probably collate records from everywhere, from the forums to like SourceForge to even the Marathon story forums, which at this point are also kind of like the Lion O Cyborg.
I was actually just going to say that you could work with Lion O Cyborg to figure that out.
Yeah, I know he's made a lot of dissertations on that forum about, I guess, connection between Marathon and the Sonic universe or something like that. And
he reported. Can I give you a little forums gossip? Not that it matters.
I probably know what you're about to refer to, but yeah, go ahead.
He reported a 10-year-old post from Racking Cactor to me for harassment and bullying. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you fine?
Yeah, you know me. I laugh and it's like a wheeze. It's not like a car.
Do you smoke at all? Do you smoke? Don't let Forrest find it. Anyways.
No, I don't smoke. I just sound like it.
Yeah. No, he reported a 10-year-old post to me. Actually, it was like 12 years. It was from the 2000s.
Yeah.
He reported to me for harassment and bullying. I had to send him a letter saying, please don't report posts that are from 2 presidential administrations ago, or 3.
Well, that is pretty absurd, but it does make sense because, in a way, Douche Tower reported on the whole community from 10 plus years ago when he made huge. So this is just the chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
But
usually when I get reports, it's for spam, not for something from 2009.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, boy. It's interesting, Lionel Cyborg's Tumblr has interesting stuff, and I'm not just talking about that one thing that's no longer there, but...
Oh, it's no longer there? Did someone save it? You should post it here.
Yeah, it's archived.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But he has like interesting analyses and the pictures of different, maps from different scenarios. And And there's also like weird, interesting, deep lore. Like I guess he said he wanted to like sue a bus driver who yelled at him, but he didn't have the money. So that stuff's that's always fun. But yeah, the Marathon story page. That's basically it's secretly the Lionel Cyborg page at this point, and the forums are basically the Murgil01 page at this point. And to that point, gotta be fair, give an open playing field. I know Murgil01 hasn't necessarily released Marathon stuff lately, although, well, he's made like the Zini comic and brief animated series, which features an original character in the Marathon universe, kind of bumbling about, not being used to all the violence and stuff like that. But, well, first of all, what do you know of Murgil01, Windbreaker? Have you talked to them much?
I know that they ping me on occasion.
Uh-huh.
And that is the extent of my knowledge on Murgil01.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's picked odd occasions and reasons for which to ping.
Yes.
So it's it's a fun little roulette there, but he made this thing called Uno Prospero that, as I remember, is only playable on the Macintosh, maybe not just on the Macintosh, but just on the computer, and B with a Nimbus controller, which is very much like a PlayStation controller but adapted for the Macintosh. And as a huge present for him, I just felt like telling this. I decided I'd play it, so I ordered the Nimbus controller. Then it came, except I didn't fucking get it. I was told that it was delivered to my house, double-checked the address and everything. It wasn't there. And so I thought, what am I going to do? I contacted the store. I think it was Best Buy. Yeah, Best Buy. See if they had anything for me. They worked out with me that I could just pick it up from a store instead of having it delivered to my place. Only problem being that that store was out in Nampa, several miles away. And this was...
it's where JTEG lives.
Yeah. Marathon Nampa. That's going to be coming soon. You heard it here first, folks. I mean, well, Windbreaker heard it first because I gave him a leak of the menu screen and title screen, but I'm going to bring asses to seats for this podcast episode by basically making this the place in which I announce projects or at least details about them that no one's heard about yet. So just so you know, Marathon Nampa is going to be a thing, and it's going to use Alex Scobell's old Earth textures from when he was a kid years ago. So there you go. It's going to be in Nampa. It's going to be fucking horrific. But anyway, speaking of horrific, I had to drive down to Nampa in the dead of winter. About rush hour traffic because of other obligations I had. I just had to drive down there. All this traffic, all the miles, all the ice.
It's Nampa. Nobody wants to be in Nampa.
Right. Smell of cow shite. I get down to Best Buy and get it. And you know what? I actually enjoyed the trip. There was a certain thrill of it. Of just, I'm going to get down there. It's the big quest. I'm going to get down there and get the controller. It was maybe on par with the sense of excitement and danger that came from playing Uno Prospero to begin with. Because I got it. I made it back, and I finally did, I think that same day. Yeah, the same day. It's like a little huge gift to Murgil01 because it was around that time. Fired it up, and it worked. And he's apparently got about 69 more versions of Uno Prospero to release before the full thing comes out. So beware of force and error. You do have some competition there, all right? Because so far
I've made Uno Prospero.
Well, I've definitely played more Uno Prospero so far than I have of Eternal.
Ooh, shots fired.
I mean, I really do want to play Eternal. It's just I don't know when that's going to be right to play it.
Yeah, that's kind of the question, right? When if it's always being worked on, do you play the next version or
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, as it is, I'm mostly on hiatus from playing anyway, so that I can work on making stuff for marathoning, getting more familiarized with stuff like scripting and everything, so I can keep up with the more advanced agents of the community.
Yeah. Speaking of which, are you gonna make? Are you gonna do an update for the scenario you have released?
Oh yes.
What's it called? Marathon.
Well, there are a few. Well, one there's Marathon Machina,
Okay.
That might be what you referred to, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And for those of you who are unaware, since we're just on the subject, I won't give all the NEFX news all at once per se, but please proceed to part 2 today.